Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our channel, Paws On Animation.
This time we're covering the animated movie, The Legend of Hei.
Now this Chinese anime movie is actually a prequel to the TV series called The Legend of Luo Xiaobei, but it's such a creative and engaging story it stands on its own as a movie. But
before we start, be sure to like, subscribe, and click occasionally some future podcasts and more to pause videos.
Now this is something Rascals wanted to see for a very long time. It's directed by MTJJ Ping Sheng, produced by Joy Pictures. There's a Chinese cast, but for the English dub, we have Xiaobei, voiced by Emmy Lo, who you know is Mao Mao. Infinity, a pretty cool character, voiced by Alex Lee.
Right, it was a shock.
Yes, and Storm In or Fang Shi, voiced by Howard Wang. So,
yes. Yes.
So tell us how you found out about this first.
Well, I actually had no idea it existed until a friend of mine on YouTube and Twitter actually started using this movie in their videos. And they started making posts about it when they had first seen it and saying it was such a great film. It was a comfort film or comfort anime type film for them, and they had talked about it from time to time. And since it was an anime movie, didn't know it was Chinese at the time. Since it was an anime movie, I figured you want to check it out. It's just couldn't find it for a while.
Yeah.
They had it on some free services, and they removed them, put them back, and they removed them. So finally, now they put it on, I believe, Zumo Play and Tubi, so we were able to see it.
And I found this movie just looking through everything, seeing was there something free to watch that didn't require a subscription, and it came up, and I said, "Ooh, surprise Rascal with this!"
Yeah,
and
I was definitely surprised
to see it. I can say I was surprised watching it because first thing that captures your attention is beautiful to look at.
Right.
Very beautiful animation. Beautiful colors, and the colors are also very calming.
Yes.
And relaxing.
Yes, definitely. And you like the art style and aesthetic of the movie too. It's definitely different from other Chinese animes and even Japanese animes, because most of the time you see Chinese ones, they have a certain, either a certain art style or they have a quality you know is not exactly top tier. Like if they're not doing those high action scenes and they're just talking to each other, you can tell it's a little stilted.
Unless it's like Cat Legend.
Right. And even their animation got better with the second season, though the first season was just fine. And for this one, it stays consistently good even when they're not doing the battle and they're just having conversations or they're traveling across the country. It stays really consistent, and you just can't stop looking at all the details and stuff in the background as well.
The foliage, for one thing, all the trees and the flowers and things are just absolutely gorgeous. And it looks like a place, kind of like a Ghibli movie that you would love to go to and visit.
Right.
And what's really odd about that is there's so many other Japanese studios that have tried to imitate, I should say, the Ghibli look. This movie actually comes as close to it in terms of giving you the relaxing feel and being calm and being laid back, even with the battle scenes, as you mentioned.
Right.
And the colors are so gorgeous. Like in one scene, we see Infinity go into his spiritual home. I think he calls it spiritual palace. His spiritual palace. And Hei comes in, and at first it's white, and then you see, I guess where he grew up, and he said, "Oh, can I come in?" He says, "No, you can't come into the house. Only I can go in." But it's so beautiful, and it's like, oh my gosh, it really reminds you of Ghibli, and that is not an easy feat.
Right, exactly. You've seen other movies do it where they have a very similar art style, but you don't get that same feeling you get from a Ghibli film. So, yes, props to them for really doing a fantastic job in the animation.
So, Xiaobei, who's just called Hei in the movie, begins a wandering journey because his home is being destroyed by humans. So as he's searching for a new home, he encounters monsters as well as this group of guys, our human allies, and some share his dislike of humans. And he thinks they're good guys, but he finds out they're not. And Hei has multiple forms that he takes.
Right.
And all but one is cute.
Right. Yes, and most of the time, for like the first part of the film, he's in this little black cat form with big eyes.
So cute.
Right.
You can see him. He's so cute.
And then towards the second and third act of the movie, he takes a human form of a little boy. So, and they say, oh, so he's just a cat. And he turns in, no, I'm not just a cat.
That was so cute when he first showed up, and he was the black cat, and he turned into his human form. He had no pants on, and his tail was out, and they quickly dressed him. It was so funny. But he's adorable. The only form he isn't adorable in, I guess, is the beast form. I'm gonna call it.
I think so. Yeah.
So he thinks that Stormin and the guys he's with are friendly. They feed him, they pat him on the head.
And they say, oh, you can come with us.
We're your family now, and you really think they're gonna be nice and kind to him.
And that's where the movie was gonna go, yeah.
But then you have the character Infinity come along, and he's a human, but he has these spiritual powers somehow. And I don't think it's ever explained. You probably have to watch his series.
Right, because they kind of bring it up like he's somewhere in the middle of being human with the powers.
But he knows Stormin, and he tells him he's not a good guy. He tells him he's wrong. And Stormin and his friends are looking for Hei, and you think they're looking for him because they miss him, and something happened in the forest, and they thought he was dead, but then they could sense him, so they went looking for him. And you think, oh, they just want to bring him back home. No, Stormin wants to take his power.
Yes, and throughout the film, Hei is stuck with Infinity, and I do like how it's set up to think that he's stuck with the bad guy and he's trying to escape majority of the time. But then the more the film goes on, you're seeing it's not exactly how you've been set up to believe. You're seeing he's not harming him or anything. He's just, letting him do what he wants, but still take him to where he needs to go. Every time he tries to escape, he brings him back, but he doesn't harm him. He feeds him even though he can't cook, but he tries.
He's going to take him to the Guardian Council.
Yeah, so he'll be
safe.
Take
those type of beings,
right?
Spirits.
And as it goes on, he starts to trust Infinity a little bit more.
But it's
the
so
more he
cute.
feeds him.
When he first starts trying to get away, he meows like a cat and hisses like Charo, and actually does it, and he keeps backing away. First time he falls in the water, Infinity doesn't move. He just takes his powers, gets him up out of the water, puts him back on the raft. And he keeps backing up, but he's being careful not to fall in the water off the end of the raft. And no matter how many times he backs up, he feeds him, he's kind to him. And eventually, as you said, he learns, okay, he's not trying to hurt him.
Right. And like I said, I do like how this is set up so much where you're thinking he's with the bad guy the whole time and you find out he's not, and it completely flips the script. And you really don't start catching on to that until later, because you're thinking, oh, they're just saying bad things about Stormin and his group because they don't want them to get the upper hand and everything. Of course they would say this stuff, but then the more you start seeing what Stormin does to other creatures and the rumors they've said about him and the dialogue that he and Infinity say to each other, the more you start to see that, okay, he might actually have some problems. And then he starts getting worse, he starts causing destruction. And mind you, this is taking place in modern day. This is not in a dynasty era or one of those heaven realms or anything. It's taking place on modern day Earth. And he was willing to destroy humans, destroy property, destroy homes and everything just to get to Hei. Infinity tries to move all the people out of the way and out of danger so they don't get killed in the middle of the battle. So I do, again, really, really like how it keeps unfolding who they really are without trying to be, oh, it's a plot twist or a Disney plot twist, something stupid like that. You're actually seeing it unfold as you watch the movie, and then it's like, wait, is he really the bad guy or is he really the good guy, or vice versa? And then you get your answer by the third act.
Now, what's really different about this as well, besides what you just mentioned, is usually when you watch Chinese anime, the good guys are attractive and handsome, so you know they're the good guys, and the bad guys are not as attractive, or they look
unappealing,
beaten up, or they're very huge, or they look more animal-like, and that's the way they draw them. And so you know the good from the bad, but in here, everybody was hot. So you didn't know who was the good guy guy, who's the bad guy. And then you had all these voice actors. We only know 3. For some reason, they don't identify the other English dub voice actors. But you've got these 3 sounding great. You got Alex Lee sounding very handsome as Infinity.
And so Zenitsu needs to sleep.
Yes, and so you're like, okay, he's a bad guy. Why is he hot? And then you're saying with Stormman, well, they gotta be the good guys because they're hot. Okay, I'm confused.
Yes, they play
normal trope.
Yes, they're playing. It's subjective with the designs and everything, because it looks like some of these people who do make these animes know that this is how they usually have the good guys and bad guys. So they said, okay, we're gonna make sure there's no way you know who's truly the good guy and the bad guy until the 3rd act. We'll just make everyone attractive so you can't tell or guess or spoil it. And it definitely worked, because even I didn't know which one was which.
And that's the change.
Yeah.
So they did a really good job in making it interesting and engaging, and leaving you with some surprise of what was going to happen and turn out. What I really liked about the movie was the growth of relationship between Hei and Infinity. Again, the beauty of the animation.
You got to the end, yeah.
And it was fun from the beginning. It was interesting from the beginning. It is relaxing. It's beautiful to look at. And the fight scenes remind me, I know it's not, yes, remind me of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. That's what I think of looking at the animated scenes in here. Really well done. Differently done than Japanese anime, but the way in which it is produced is highly effective.
Right. And I think this would be a high recommendation for a lot of anime fans, whether you watch Chinese anime or Korean anime, Japanese anime, or watch a mixture. This is something to really watch. We've slowly started to watch more Chinese anime. Now we've done like White Cat Legend and Heaven Official's Blessing and Soul Leveling and stuff. We've slowly started to be...
Soul Leveling is Korean.
Right. I mean, okay, well, I should say other ones outside of Japan, other animes.
Okay.
And we're slowly getting into more of these things, and sometimes we end up turning them off because they're just not engaging. But this one wasn't one of those cases. It's definitely something worth watching, even if you don't watch the TV show after.
Definitely.
You could just watch the movie and never see the series, and it will still feel like a satisfying conclusion.
But now, seeing this movie, I definitely want to see the series, and hopefully we can find it. The production company is HMCH, not identified what the letters stand for. That might be the name of the company. Distributed by Shuashi Film Distribution. This movie actually came out in China in 2019, and its Japanese language official dub aired in Japan a month afterward. Distributed by Toho Cinemas, and then it was released in the US and Canada with an English dub by Shout Studios in 2021. So if you have not seen this, you really need to see it. It is absolutely a joy to watch, and fun to watch, and relaxing to watch, even with all the action that's going on. If you are familiar with The Legend of Hei, let us know in the comments. If you know where we can watch the series, The Legend of Luo Xiaobei, let us know in the comments. And if you haven't seen it, go on to, was it Tubi?
Either Tubi or Zumo Play.
Tubi or Zumo Play. Give it a watch. It is dubbed, and you can change the settings if you want to hear it in the original language. You can do that as well, but you've got to give it a watch. This was something everyone missed out on. It's 101 minutes, so it's not quite, a little over an hour and a half. And when it finishes, you're sorry that it's over. You actually wish that it was longer.
Yeah,
and usually hear us go, well, they should have made it shorter. Well, they should have made it longer.
Yeah, this time. And if you haven't already, subscribe for updates, movie reviews for anime series, anime shows, and all things animation.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for watching and for joining us for things that we find and love. Feel free to share this podcast. It really helps our channel out. And thank you for subscribing and being family. You really mean a lot to us.
Yes. I'm Rascal Entertainment.
And I'm Mom Entertainment.
Have a fantastic day.
Peace.
Rivers and streams, plucking sunlight from the sky in my pocket.